I just want to start off by saying this is not medical advice. And if you have been stuck with very deep depression, right, major depressive symptoms, and might be best to go see a doctor, speak to somebody that can help you with that. But whenever somebody comes to me and tells me that they have depression, right, or minor depression, or they just seem to be depressive when they get home and when they're alone, and there's just this overarching sense of a fog over their life, right? They're not truly able to find happiness or fulfillment on their own. They feel lonely a lot. All these things, these minor depressive symptoms, I do give them advice. And I start off by saying that depression has multiple parts to it, just as we do, because it's a part of us, right? And it becomes a part of our life through how we live our life, right? So there's three parts of us, the emotional, physical, and the spiritual component to what a human is. And emotionally, to start to break through depression or those symptoms, right? You're going to have to sit and feel any emotions that you've been repressing or avoiding and come to grips with with your reality, right? And not with what you've lost or what you want for your life or what you think your life is. Just come to grips with what reality is and what your options are in the present moment. And this is going to help you find a choice in how to move forward with an actual action, meaningful action that you can take to start to move forward, as any progress in life is going to take persistence and action day in and day out. So getting to connect with those emotions, right? And actually fully feeling them instead of trying to stuff them or avoiding them through just feeling sad and sorry and completely destroyed about yourself, right? Is not going to help you. So that's what I have to say on the emotional side. Physically, there's a whole range of things, right? You can start to eat better, healthier foods, avoiding sugar as much as possible, avoiding junk food, avoiding easily bought food, right? As that food is all processed and heavy, and the spike that you get from the energy is going to be always followed by this low feeling of tiredness afterwards, right? Especially greasy food. You're gonna have to eat more or less depending on what your intake is, right? So if you're not eating enough, that is gonna keep you lethargic as well. And if you're eating too much, then it might just be a sign of you trying to compensate for your feelings with food, right? You're gonna have to try and get more sleep, better sleep, if you're not sleeping enough, or if you're avoiding sleep by staying up late at night, right? And find a way to be active, as a lot of people have jobs that don't require them to do much anymore, right? Where they're sitting all day long, where they don't have any form of physical exercise in their life anymore. So find something that you like and just stick to it. Do it on a day-to-day basis or every other day, once or twice a week. Just do something. And this one is an important one. And again, it's not medical advice, but taking vitamins and getting sunlight, right, is something that's very powerful for a lot of people, especially magnesium, glycinate, and vitamin D3 paired together. It helps a lot of people with those minor depression symptoms. And there's actual science behind the magnesium glycinate. And it helps people with anxiety as well. They just find their head to be a lot clearer, and they finally find the impulse in them to get up and start to clean, start to do something for themselves, right? To break out of that routine, that daily depressive habits that you've been holding on to or doing on a day-to-day basis. So magnesium, glycinate, and vitamin D3, that's a very powerful combination. Spiritually, finding a meditation or a practice, right? Something that you can do to start to restore your sense of self, restore your ability to love your life, restore your ability to see life as beautiful again, right? The easiest and most common one I tell people to start with is gratitude, where you start from the moment you wake up to the moment you go back to sleep. You just find anything and everything to be grateful for, no matter how insignificant it may be, whether it's hands at work, the ability to speak, the ability to see with your eyes, the ability to walk, anything in your life that you can be grateful for. You're going to find an endless amount of things that you overlooked or you weren't even able to notice because you didn't have this be a part of your life, right? So practice this for a whole day or two, and then just continue trying to do this for as many days as possible. And then in the future, it can be something you fall back onto if you lose that practice, right? But it is very powerful, and there's also science backing it to how it helps you rewire some neuron connections in your brain. So if you want to look into that, that is something you can find. So these are all things that have helped me break my depression whenever I struggled with it in the past, right? So take this as with a grain of salt, right? What worked for me is not going to work for everybody else. And there may be different things going on in your life, heavier situations, whether it's loss of a family member or a loved one. There are certain things that depression is natural for, right? Where our bodies have to go through that so that we can process and go through those heavy emotions, right? But just as depression is normal, it's also normal to be able to break out of it. And if you don't want to be taking pills the rest of your life, or if you just don't want that as an option for yourself, then do everything in your power first, right? Everything that others have done and has helped them to try and break out of that depression, right? One thing I will say, if you do struggle with very intense depressions that last long amounts of time, then it is going to be a good sign that you need to talk to a doctor, right, or a physician to see if you're lacking in some sort of mineral, vitamin, or if something physical is going on inside of you, right, that is going to need attention. So make sure you try and do at least one thing each day and stick to it, right? No matter how small that is. If you just start with gratitude, that's a huge thing that is going to help you, right? It's going to help change your perspective on life. So hopefully this helps you, and reach out if any of these tips helped you, or if you need more advice, or if you're just looking to talk to somebody, just reach out and I'll be there for you.